And we are getting set for tip-off in Morgantown. Lights dimmed as West Virginia begins a streak of 6 straight games against ranked opponents, starting with Kansas Jayhawks, the perennial power in the Big 12, although this year it's Baylor on top. Because of technical difficulties, Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis, and John Rothstein with you as we get set for tip-off in Morgantown. West Virginia looking to knock off the Jayhawks as we get set for tip-off here. A look at our starting fives. Clark?
Well, you take a look at this group here. Emmett Matthews is a guy that I highlight because he's kind of a Swiss Army knife type player, excellent slasher, and also can be disruptive defensively.
David?
And I'm looking for Jalen Wilson maybe get his mojo back. Came out on fire the first couple of months of the season, has hit a bit of a redshirt freshman wall, if there is such a thing. He's hit it. He needs to break through today.
David, McCormick been very hot as well for Kansas, especially lately, 61% from the floor over his last 3 games as they get set to go up against West Virginia here, John.
Yeah, again, as I alluded to, that is a focal point on the West Virginia scattering report. McCormick coming off a double-double against Kansas State. The Jayhawks 8-2 this season when he reaches double figures.
And we get set for tip in Morgantown. Smiles right now among the Jayhawks as they get set to face Huggy Bear, as Seth pointed out in our pregame show, 893 career wins, and hoping that this is the year he hears from the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Our officials today, John Higgins, James Breeding, and Brett Smith. Kansas on your right in blue, West Virginia in the grays on your left. What's going to set the tone here, Clark?
Well, I think both of these teams want to play reasonably up-tempo, but I also think both teams want to establish their big guys inside. John referenced McCormick for Kansas, and again, Derek Culver struggled in the first meeting. I would look for West Virginia to try to get him going early.
Garrett,
both teams man-to-man.
Off to Wilson here, yep. Like you said, get some offensive rebounds. Got to finish, though. West Virginia ball.
And it's Deuce McBride in transition, again, has improved so much from last season to this season. For West Virginia to be elite, he needs to be elite.
Foul on the play. Bill Self watches on. In his 18th season at the school, took over in 2003, Hall of Fame class of 2017. Of course, that 2008 national title. You see West Virginia's success at home against Kansas. Some tight defense here by Jalen Wilson.
You see Wilson on McBride is an interesting matchup. I think McBride want to take it out and get him in foul trouble.
And there's Culver.
Fell inside.
First bucket of the game to West Virginia. Yep, Kansas, first time in a long time outside the top 20% since 2009. Marcus Garrett trying to be the star. Ties us up.
And you see with that Culver bucket, guys, that's a big difference. Probably the biggest difference with Kansas this year than last year. They don't have that rim protection inside and Azubuike. McCormick's been a little bit up and down with his defense, and then once he goes out, they really don't have much by way of a backup big.
And it looks like West Virginia knows their game plan here, Clark.
Yeah, they want to do dine-in eating. They want to get that ball inside as much as they can to Culver, especially in the half court. They'll take opportunities to run, but in the half court set, I think they've got to play through Culver because McCormick is trying to defend him one-on-one in there.
And Culver, last 6 games, averaging about 16 and 12, so he's been the hot hand already, and he is early on here. Wilson baseline, rattling out. McCormick again. He's got the energy.
Well, you got to convert those because you're not going to have a lot of offensive rebound opportunities against the Mountaineers.
Oh, deflected.
Guy's a big key for the ball right there. Jalen Bridges, he's a big X factor to open up the defense at the 4 spot for Derek Culver.
Matthews driving, a little too strong. Wilson with the rebound for Kansas, and now we're moving. Or moving too fast. Off of Garrett, and so West Virginia takes back over as Huggins likes to get turnovers, but normally they're more forced than that. Over 300 wins now just at West Virginia.
What a job he has done at West Virginia in both the Big East and the Big 12, obviously capped off by that Final Four trip in 2010, 11 years ago.
Well, they pay too much attention to Culver, works down low for the outside pass for 3, but that rattles out. Kansas getting some good rebounds here early.
Well, that was Marcus Garrett on Deuce McBride, which is a better defensive matchup for Kansas. He's one of the top perimeter defenders in the country.
Wilson, far side.
See that room they give McCormick, too. They don't have to guard him out there.
They gave Christian Brown plenty of room, and it didn't cost him either. A little too strong on that 3 attempt, and driving all the way through, a little too much there. And now Kansas in transition. Look out!
Wow.
Flat tire. He couldn't decide whether to dunk it or lay it in, Clark.
Indecisiveness always costs you, and that was certainly the case with Garrett there. See, it's a real simple game if you're West Virginia from my standpoint. They're going to guard him one-on-one in the low post. Kansas is not going to double team, and Culver is really effective down there going against one-on-one defense.
And Kansas has so much trouble finishing so close to the rim already as McCormick can't get it to drop. And so West Virginia up 6-2 thanks to Kansas starting 1 for 8 from the field.
Big sign right there. That's Jalen Bridges for the 3. Bill Self already going to the bench. He's going to go get Mitch Lightfoot. West Virginia pushing the ball down the hill now.
And we'll see if Kansas can turn things around here after that timeout as we continue from Morgantown, West Virginia after this.
All right, we are back, and as we went to break, John, you suggested Mitch Lightfoot will be coming in the game for Kansas down 9-2 already here.
Yeah, and you're seeing, Adam, already West Virginia obviously exposing Kansas at the rim. Bill Self clearly frustrated. And, you know, it's ironic because we're sitting here in February and you're looking at a Kansas team and a program in uncharted territory. They're playing to get better. They're not playing for the Big 12 regular season title.
No, we talked about in the pregame what a jumble it is in the Big 12 with Baylor way out in front, but 5 teams within half a game of each other right now in the Big 12. Kansas 6-4, West Virginia 5-3 among them.
Yeah, for fans of Kansas, Duke, Carolina playing tonight for a chance just to get into the tournament. Michigan State trying to get into the tournament. Kentucky probably not in the tournament, certainly as of today. So this has been a theme in college basketball for so many years. It was, is this the year that Kansas' streak is going to end in the Big 12? This year it's, hey, can they just get a little bit better and try to be competitive come March, because they have not been playing good basketball the last month or so, Clark.
They have not, and now they want to try to get something inside, I think. Got to dribble it in there or pass it into the paint area.
And whistle right there. I was going to say it's bad enough for
illegal
Kansas
screen
to be down 9-2. West Virginia brings the full court press on them right out of the break there.
You know, one thing, guys, to look at, too, in this game, Kansas has shifted to a 5 small lineup at times this season to drag the opposing big man away from the basket. We're not seeing that yet. We could see that with Jalen Wilson. That's a 5.
And so off that illegal screen, West Virginia ball again. You see the 7-0 run. And now comes the 3.
Floodgates are opening. If McBride and Sherman make shots, the ceiling gets significantly higher in Morgantown.
And those two guys have been pretty consistent knocking down shots. McBride has made a ton of big ones this season, and Sherman is always ready to torch you coming off the bench.
Cutting through here is Wilson, as Kansas is able to double its score to make it 12-4. But Deuce McBride, so explosive. He's been there in the clutch for West Virginia throughout the season, and now a travel called, so we're going to go the other way. Another look at McBride, Seth, as not afraid to show off the hot hand.
Yeah, and he's just been playing with unbelievable confidence and playing off of his teammates really well, moving well without the basketball. He can run the point. He can go off the ball. He's been one of the really outstanding guards in the country the last 6 weeks.
No question about it. At both ends of the floor, too, Seth. I mean, not only does he make plays offensively, but he's an outstanding defender. Christian Brown giving Kansas a much-needed 3-point bucket. He made 6 of those in the last meeting, which Kansas won by 14.
And to John's point, I think Kansas is at its best when they are going smaller and they can spread the floor. McCormick's been playing well, but to me, this is the lineup that's more dangerous for the Jayhawks and a better matchup because, as John said, now you're forcing Derek Culver to defend in space as opposed to the post where he's comfortable.
And sometimes when you go small, you're trying to make your offense be your defense. Gives you a chance to put the opposing team into some tough matchups. You can score the ball and then perhaps even apply a little more pressure because you are smaller and quicker across 4 positions.
Matthews missing the baseline fadeaway just before the shot clock expired, although it did expire because he didn't hit anything.
And we can see the chess match going on between two guys who obviously should both be in the Hall of Fame. Mitch Lightfoot comes in for Kansas. Gabe Alsaboyan counters for West Virginia. If you want, obviously, a tutorial on defense, watch number 3 for West Virginia. Look at those magic feet, Adam.
Here it comes. Garrett in a corner.
Right away. Forces a timeout right away. There are no 50-50 plays with Alsaboyan. It's 90-10.
12-7 our score. We'll be right back. Kansas ball again here. 12-7. They trail at Morgantown. We already saw the Mountaineers with a quick run to start this game as Bob Huggins looks to take down Bill Self. Garrett with the ball. See what they drew up here. Abaji rattles out. They've had good looks, Clark. Things just aren't falling for him, and now a foul.
Agreed. There you see two outstanding coaches. They've done it at a high level for a long
To the suit, but now everyone is pretty much. So Huggins is a fashion trendsetter. Who'd have thunk it?
There you see Miles McBride. Nice drop down there defensively to come up with that steal. Good job by the Jayhawks to get back and make the Mountaineers play in the half court.
Turnover down low. See what it leads to for West Virginia as they launch another 3. Not happening there. And the offensive rebounds that we're used to seeing for West Virginia haven't played as big a role just yet.
Yeah, and that's the sacrifice when you play a smaller lineup. You're not going to be as good on the boards. Keep an eye, too, for West Virginia. Number 22, Sean McNeil just in the game. Another guy like Taz Sherman.
Yeah, he's a laser.
He can extend the defense.
Yeah, absolute laser when he gets it going.
Some tightrope work for Kansas. Only could last so long with the pressure from West Virginia in the corner there.
And, you know, Adam, talking to the West Virginia staff, they're still recalibrating themselves as we look at the replay here.
As you saw, if you look at the feet of Garrett, he got the job done. McCormick couldn't stick the landing.
He stuck it. He was just out of bounds.
Yeah. So another turnover for Kansas gives them 4 in the game.
DeJuan Harris checking in right now for Kansas, a guy who doesn't have a great impact statistically, but can really be a ball mover, a table setter, and a passer. Is going to have a very good Big 12 career at Kansas.
Sean McNeil off to McBride at the top. And now a foul called here. That'll go against Matthews.
Kedrian Johnson coming in, junior college prospect right now, gives them some good mileage in reserve. It's a very deep assortment of characters on the perimeter. It's kind of like a charcuterie board.
Someone planning for Super Bowl Sunday.
Already.
The cheat meal that's circled on the calendar.
So Kansas gets another crack at it here. 3 of 11 so far from the field in the game.
I like that. I was just thinking Kansas has not really probed or attacked off the dribble, and that's a big part of your offensive attack. If you're going to go small, you've got to get paint touches to draw the defense or to finish at the rim.
Only 4 fouls called in this game as well, so cleanly played.
And, guys, Kansas has shifted now to that 5-out lineup. You've got Jalen Wilson and Tristan Enaruno up front. Enaruno right there, 13 in blue.
And it's 5 in gray. Jordan McCabe trying to work his way down low and draws a foul.
West Virginia is set right now with its perimeter pieces. They have what it takes on the perimeter. They've got to find somebody else along with this guy to give them some sort of mileage in the pivot. They need some reinforcements behind Culver.
Culver averaging about 16 and 12 over his last 6 games. He's got the ball as West Virginia looks to build on a 5-point lead against perennial power Kansas. Ooh, lots of action down low, and it's just going to be Kansas ball as we hit the under 12. Letting them play. Kansas down 5. We'll be right back to Morgantown, West Virginia. Time now for the AT&T Fast Analysis. Clark?
We're going inside with the big fellas. We talked about them both. Derek Culver for West Virginia. Here he is stepping out to the free throw lane area and then taking it off the dribble. I don't know if you call that a drive with just one bounce, but a tough finish inside, which is where he does most of his work. And McCormick shooting over 60% in his last 5 games, doing a nice job here. When he catches it there that deep with his defender behind him, he's got a nice little jump hook that you see there. And even if he doesn't convert initially, he's able to chase down the miss. But he has not been able to get going. Culver had a quick start with 6 early points for West Virginia today.
And McCormick had his eyes on that rebound.
Yep.
That's where you got to get him. I mean, if you're going to go after that pumpkin, you've got to be intentional about it and do it with force.
Isn't always the guy taking the shot? He knows it's off. He knows where it's going.
I always felt like you had the best chance to retrieve your miss because you knew how you missed it.
Well, you would think Kansas might get more offensive rebounds then for the 4 for 12 start that they've had here today in Morgantown, trailing 14-9.
You can see again, that small lineup for Kansas.
Again, close-range shots not falling.
Well executed other than the finish.
It's about the 3rd or 4th one they've missed in there, too.
That's right.
You're looking for the guy coming over. Got to keep your eye on the rim, like you just said, Clark. They're not listening.
Well, Derek Culver, I tell you, he's a hard matchup one-on-one, especially now that Kansas has this smallish lineup on the floor.
Well, Clark.
Here you go again.
Yeah, see, he just sits down. He's got a much smaller guy on him, turns and faces, and then uses his body for that pivot away. But this is going to be a hard matchup. Kansas has to figure out, one, I think they've got to be able to get more offense because they're smaller. Yep. But then how are they going to try to disrupt that ball from getting inside to Culver, because he's got a clear matchup advantage at the offensive end of the floor for West Virginia.
And the answer now is to shoot some threes, and Ochai Agbaji connects there to make it a 4-point game.
And you can see every single possession, Derek Culver is getting dragged out to the 3-point line. On one possession it was Anaruna, the other was Christian Brown. Bill Self and Bob Huggins in a chess match right now in Morgantown.
Bill Self has fared very well in those chess matches, 19-5 head-to-head against Bob Huggins. Kansas trying to force a turnover there. Nice reach in there by Jalen Wilson. West Virginia getting it back, though. We've seen West Virginia get a lot of offensive rebounds on the season, but not this time.
Agbaji is so smooth. An awful lot in his game that you like. Terrific athlete, nice stroke. Needs to get a little more assertive, I think, taking the ball to the basket.
Yep.
But he's got a lot in his package to like.
Had the 15 points against Kansas State the other day. The ball went back to West Virginia here. Culver trying to do it again. No. McBride, the big follow. And a lot of short-range shots. Failing to find the bottom of the hoop here.
And Kansas doing a great job the last couple of possessions, limiting West Virginia's ability to get second shots, but giving it to the other team doesn't help.
Yeah, you don't get first shots with passes like that. And so West Virginia the other way.
Great shot fake.
That's how you find the bottom of the net the wrong way, and then the right way. And West Virginia back up 6 set.
That possession starts with the bad turnover by Jalen Wilson, and that's why you don't commit bad turnovers against good teams.
Culver again there. Under 10 to go here in the first half. And Agbaji, who made their last 3, no, but Brown down low, no again.
We are seeing right now a transition to positionless basketball. The only post player on the floor is Culver.
McCabe misses his run. McBride will settle it up for West Virginia.
It's going to be driving Bill Self crazy with these guys missing so many bunnies.
Ooh.
That's going to come up at halftime, I assure you.
Great hustle by him.
Almost missed the chance to get the ball back.
Yeah. And this guy, their staff really likes his energy, his versatility. Anaruna is a guy that can bring intangibles and, again, get 50-50 balls.
Ends up being a jump ball there, though, the ultimate 50-50 ball on West Virginia with possession.
We've seen, obviously, these two teams trade blows the last couple of minutes, and they're both, works in progress. Kansas is playing, obviously, a little bit different right now, and West Virginia has had to really recalibrate its entire approach in the middle of the season since losing Oscar Tshiebwe.
Garrett getting a hand or a foot on that inbounds attempt. And a quick 3, pull up good.
It's a layup for him, Adam. When he gets his shoulders squared to the basket, it's like a layup for Sean McNeil. If him and Sherman can make shots, things change in Morgantown.
Garrett tries to answer quickly. He doesn't fall. Now it's Wilson. Ooh. Abaji again, Clark. Bam!
Well, that's why the penetration, that's why the paint touches are so important, because it compresses the defense, and now you've got a chance to find shooters, but you've got to be aggressive in attacking the paint, especially if you're going to play small ball. You've got to drive it, drive and kick, knock down threes, and then convert inside when you get chances.
How do you stop that, though?
You don't.
A deuce for Deuce McBride. And West Virginia back up 8 as we approach 8 minutes to go here in the first half.
So many players emerging in the Big 12 this year recently. Davion Harmon, obviously Courtney Ramey, Deuce McBride, another one. This league, you see players start early and finish late with success. McBride well on his way on an upward trajectory.
As are you. Adam Zucker, John Rothstein, Clark
JR is always
Seth
flying
Davis.
high, man.
He's at his cruising altitude.
Yes, always, always.
How about West Virginia? Only 2 fouls in 12 minutes. And it's not because they're not guarding.
No, they've forced turnovers. They're making their shots. Both teams finding success from deep so far. Big drive, but no finish that time for Matthews, and Kansas gets the rebound.
This is the guy that's got to get going. They got to get Wilson feeling good about himself. Got to get him some easy baskets. He's not the same player that he was early in the season.
No easy baskets for Kansas so far, and even the close looks haven't fallen as Brown gets fouled shooting a 3. We'll have free throws coming as we hit the under 8. Kansas trying to get a rally going here. Be right back.
Be sure to tweet your pictures with the hashtag.
And we welcome you back. Kansas has won 5 straight meetings with West Virginia, but trailing here by 8, having only made a third of their shots and 7 turnovers, as might be typical when you go up against the Bob Huggins coach team. Last time they played, Derek Culver only had 8 points, and Clark, he already has 10.
He got off to a great start, got the ball in his sweet spots early, getting in front of the rim right there. Then you knew this was a matchup that West Virginia would try to exploit. Even when McCormick was on the floor, one-on-one coverage against a guy like Culver is a difficult assignment. And so off to a fantastic start. And you see the difference between what Culver has done close to the rim and what his teammates have done on the perimeter.
And both teams, 50% from 3. The rebounds are even. It's been the turnovers, a lot of close shots that Kansas has not been able to get to fall. And so they trail by 8 here.
And if you're West Virginia staff, you're very happy defensively right now, because even though they've had some success, they are giving up in the 80s over their last 3 games. That's not synonymous with the Bob Huggins coach team.
And Brown goes to the line. Before the break, he was fouled on a 3-point attempt. Pretty big spot for him early on here. Makes the first.
One of these guys under Bill Self that's just going to hang around for 4 years, make big shots, and get a little bit better each year, like Brady Morningstar, Connor Teahan, two guys who obviously were big pieces on that run to the 2012 national title game 9 years ago, which Clark was on the court for.
Yeah, that's right. I was
New Orleans
for that one. Yeah.
First 2 have gone home for Braun, a 77% free throw shooter on the year, and helps his average on this trip down the court. Cuts into that West Virginia lead here, 23-18.
First free throws of the game right there.
It's been clean as far as fouls, mostly. Turnovers have been the sloppy contribution. That and some harried shots.
Now they went back to the big lineup. We got McCormick on Culver. And great defense right there by David McCormick, moving his feet, forcing the turnover. The chess match continues in Morgantown.
He gave Culver all that praise, and here he comes.
Yeah, he just got a little impatient here. And to John's point, McCormick did a nice job breaking contact, moving his feet, staying in front.
See if Kansas can get some momentum. Abaji, no. And Culver gets the possession back for West Virginia. That's a pick as well.
Abaji, it just seems like he's very prone to settling right now. He has not attacked the rim the last 4 or 5 touches. He's content to face up and take jump shots to try and get to the free throw line or get some easy baskets.
And the magic continues here for Culver. Big man, Clark, and he twists and finesses these shots.
Yeah, he's fairly agile, and he's got a nice little jump hook over his right shoulder. I'd like to see him use his right hand on that drive, but he does a good job of coming back to the left hand even when he drives right.
7-point game again as Garrett sends it down low, and West Virginia gets another one of their patented turnovers. And here they come. McBride back to Culver.
See, reset your offense here. They're going to look for McNeil and try to get, obviously, a touch in the paint. Or take it.
Whoa!
The emerald green light.
Yeah,
he's got it for a reason.
Yeah, that was a settle because Culver had a much smaller guy on him, and I think that ball should have gone inside. And right away, you take a bad 3 on one end, and that's the first pass to a transition opportunity at the other end.
Jalen Wilson able to convert that, so it is a 4-point game.
Kansas has settled into a little bit of a better rhythm. Felt like early on they were nervous, trying to make things happen too fast. Nice job keeping their poise in that deficit.
Good hands by Brown. Look at the hustle.
Dives on it. Right. Oh, that's going to go for a
You'll live with that.
Yep.
You'll live with that. That is an unbelievable effort by Christian Brown. Kansas a little bit more active right now defensively the last couple of possessions.
Not good effort here. I don't know if he needed to. Yeah, if he slid.
It'll look good in the film room, though.
Let's see. Never had it, and had it. Yeah, that's a walk. I think he could have stayed on his feet and still come up with the ball there. That was a premature launch into a dive.
It was pretty cool, though.
Yeah. It was cool, but I mean, I want to score if I'm going to get a steal.
And it goes as another turnover.
From that prone position.
On an unrelated note, I just saw Coach Huggins has that credential around his waist. Don't people at the Coliseum know who he is?
You never know. You never know these days. Can't be too safe.
Wear our masks. Sherman fully visible. And yeah, Sherman's been the hot hand from 3 of late. 42% in recent games. And West Virginia back up by 7.
Love the way he moves without the ball. He can get it off the dribble, but he does a nice job of changing the pace on his cuts and then getting himself on balance on the catch.
Approaching 5 to go here in the first half.
They're cheating on McCormick down there with the double. Here it comes again.
Draws a foul this time.
Yep, nice job splitting at that time by McCormick.
McCormick's been shooting hot lately. Over 61% his last 3 games. 18 points and 10 rebounds coming off his 4th double-double of the season.
And it's a transition at the 5 spot for Kansas. You know, I remember talking to Norm Roberts, obviously, from their staff in the preseason. He said it was weird not to have as many dunks in practice because we didn't have Udoka Azubuike.
Yeah.
That's not David McCormick. He's obviously a much different type of big man, but he's proved lately that he's a capable big man, and he's getting better with each game.
But they also, John, as you well know, they don't have that point guard either. And
no.
One thing you notice about Kansas is they don't run after makes the way they used to do. And they have someone like a Frank Mason, a Devon Dotson, get the ball out and go. Marcus Garrett is their point guard, but he's much more of a facilitator as opposed to a playmaker. So, but they're right in this one.
And we'll see if that made free throw can get McCormick going. He started 0 for 3 and then missed that free throw, the first one. Connects to make it a 6-point game as we go under 5 minutes to play here first half. See who this gets this one. Staying with West Virginia.
Emmett Matthews, number 11, another big key for West Virginia.
Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis, and John Rothstein with you. Due to technical difficulties, we are calling the action taking place in Morgantown right now between West Virginia, up 6 on Kansas. And West Virginia's gotten a lot of the loose balls so far. Turnovers have been a factor as well. Now a foul called here.
And Bob Huggins trying a different type of lineup right now. He's got Emmett Matthews at the 3 with Asaboyan and Culver up front, trying to get a little bit more on the backboards.
And Brown got a little bit too much of that forearm, and so the foul goes against him. He had a great hustle play a couple minutes ago that was called a turnover. And now this time, nope. Not a turnover. I'm as surprised as the Kansas bench as West Virginia retains possession here with 15 on the shot clock.
Bill Self, obviously, trying to make adjustments as they go back to Culver, and you can see the double coming.
Almost a triple. And then they work it around.
Big finish.
And they're able to get that one to fall. Matthews and an 8-point lead again.
There's your paint touch, Clark.
Yep. Works both ways. I mean, you get paint touches, you really put pressure on the defense.
See the double coming.
And McCormick gets one to go.
That's where the ball belongs for Kansas when McCormick's in the game. When he gets points easily, everything opens up for their offense.
And West Virginia gets that one to drop as well. So now we're going back and forth a little bit more.
An interesting look at the Kansas lineup. Harris is in the game again, a table-setting point guard. He can create a little bit more flow offensively.
Foul on that. Call against Culver. Hitting the final minutes here of the first half with West Virginia up 32-24. A meeting of giants and a long trip for Braun on the hardwood there in West Virginia. CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Tastes unbelievably delicious. Sonic. This is how we Sonic. And by USAA Insurance, auto, renters, and home insurance. And West Virginia looking to make Jerry West proud today. Up right now on Kansas. Two teams in that big cluster in the Big 12 right now, which, of course, Baylor is way out in front. And it's the first of 6 straight games for West Virginia against ranked teams, Seth, and 2 of those games will be against the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, and how about the job that Lon Kruger's doing at Oklahoma, by the way? He's got to be on the short list for National Coach of the Year, including with a couple of COVID disruptions, losing his top 2 guys, but still winning.
And a little too fast for action there, but they're going to get the ball back again.
Sherman just ran out of real estate, kind of undecided as he made that drive. Unfortunate that West Virginia retains possession. The Mountaineers are +9 in field goal attempts because of the 9 turnovers that Kansas is committing. And there's Deuce McBride. I think that's 3 for Deuce.
And coaches always talk about with Bob Huggins, you got to be conscious about how effective he is out of inbounds plays. A very high percentage they convert on. That was one.
See if Kansas can answer again. They've been hot from 3 as well. Some quick passes in and out from McCormick. Brown, though, double teamed. Open man. Not happening.
If you want to understand how to have an impact without having the ball, just watch Gabe Osaboy, number 3 on West Virginia.
And it's not falling for West Virginia either from McBride. Brown loves going after it today.
It'll be Kansas ball on that, but great hustle by Osaboy.
We're going to have to maybe get the first aid kit out, Seth, because Brown, not too much friction on the hardwood today.
That'll leave a mark. But that'll win you minutes, though. That's, talk about a
terrific effort both ways there.
Osaboy, just blockouts, rebounds, tips, just so many different intangible things for West Virginia. And his minutes have increased since Oscar Tshiebwe left the program. Look at the job he's doing right now on David McCormick, working on the low block.
McCormick ends up with 3 guys on him by the time he gets that off and gets it to fall as well. If he can heat up, this game will get tight. Kansas within 9, under 3 to go here in the first half.
I am struck by the improvement of David McCormick in his offensive game. Really wasn't there the first month and a half of the season, but he has certainly come on here the last few weeks.
And, you know, sometimes improvement comes in fits and starts. You continue to work, hit the rock, and eventually you start to pay dividends for all of your hard work.
You guys have any idea who's doing AT&T at the half? It'll be us. Adam Zucker, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis, and John Rothstein with you as West Virginia looking to build on a 9-point lead. And Brown, who's making a lot of hustle plays, comes in there to make sure that one doesn't fall. But another foul called on this one.
I'm just glad I got in early today. I usually come in, you know, a few minutes before halftime. But today I'll just get in early, get settled. I don't know Clark was going to make me work extra today, as you see the dump off inside.
Good penetration and then fined by Sherman there.
Hard foul by Brown.
And Brown's fouls have been hard hits on forearms, but they've been purposeful.
Somebody's in the Super Bowl movie.
I didn't say stiff arm. But it is his 3rd personal foul, and they were counting on him for some 3s here as they try to get back into this one.
This is a big 233 coming up here. Can West Virginia extend this thing well into double figures, or can Kansas get this down to 6 or 8? Really big stretch coming up here before the half.
And Culver converts there, leading the Big 12 in double-doubles on the season and having a big game already here for West Virginia as they're up double digits once again.
We'll check at the monitor.
Yeah. The hardest part about not being courtside.
Yep, one of them.
2.5 to go. Kansas trailing by 10. Outside the top 20 for the first time since 2009. But facing West Virginia has normally helped them get right, having won 9 of their last 10, but it's going to get a little more difficult now as a technical has been called against the Kansas bench.
And that is a huge call going into the half. And obviously Kansas visibly frustrated by the call. But now all of a sudden, West Virginia's going to get Deuce McBride on the line. He's extending the lead. Kansas already having some issues scoring consistently. A big swing call right there with 2:33 to play in the half.
That official John Higgins has worked multiple Final Fours, countless big games, well known for not necessarily being eager to hear a lot of certain types of feedback from the bench. So hopefully Bill Self got his money's worth on that one, if it was Bill.
Is there positive feedback that they hear during the game?
Oh, they love advice and constructive criticism. Referees, they're usually asking for it, especially from the media.
Well, we're here. 38-26 our score. West Virginia now their largest lead of the game as Kansas tries to get something going here before the break. And working it down low and getting it to fall there is Abaji, their leading scorer.
And that's why Bill Self's a Hall of Fame coach. They get the technical, then what does he do? He runs a play to get Abaji a layup right near the goal. Incredible execution right there by Kansas.
2 minutes to go here, first half.
Culver sizing up McCormick.
Ooh. He can palm the ball all right. Doesn't get to go, though, and Wilson gets the rebound for Kansas. And now it's Garrett in the lane, making it single digits once again, 38-30.
Impressive response by Kansas. Need to get Garrett going. He does.
Timeout on the floor for West Virginia. We'll be right back. All right, West Virginia had their biggest lead of the game. It was 12 moments ago, and Kansas cutting into it. So a timeout by Bob Huggins. And Clark, what do you expect from West Virginia coming out of this?
Well, to John's point, you want to finish this half strong. You've pretty much led. It's been a wire-to-wire lead, if I'm not mistaken, for West Virginia. And so now you just want to make sure you execute and get quality shots every possession.
And here is an attempt at one.
That's money there.
Give it to the most open guy, and he hits it. Taz Sherman, who had been that hot hand from three.
Hey, that's ATM time for Taz. I mean, he's got that much time and space. Mark that up.
I was going to say, Clark, I think you were closer to Taz Sherman than any of the Kansas defenders on that one. That was a very bad defensive possession for Kansas as Garrett gets the answer.
Kansas back with a 9 minute to go.
Sort of last couple of possessions by Garrett.
Oh, everybody wants to play now. Sherman, another three.
But that's what he does, though. I mean, he is so explosive offensively, and he's great at attacking and actually hunting his shot within the offensive flow.
Kansas the other way. They've been feeding in the lane lately. And Wilson able to draw a foul, but West Virginia almost on pace for 90 points in this game right now.
And they're comfortable playing faster because their personnel now allows that to happen. This isn't a West Virginia team necessarily like we've seen in the past that's going to drag you into the mud and win the game 68-65. This is a team right now that can get out, score. Remember, a couple weeks ago when they beat Texas Tech, it was 88-87.
65% free throw shooter on the year, and that one spins out for Wilson. Jayhawks are down a dozen here. Final minute of the first half in Morgantown.
You know, guys, I just want to take a moment to tip my hat and thoughts to a good friend, Tom Konchowski, legendary high school scout. He's having some illness. I spoke with Tom today, and he was asking all about basketball and me and my family as opposed to what he's going through. There's not a person in or around the game of basketball that doesn't know and adore Tom Konchowski, and we ask you to keep him in your prayers.
Wishing you the very best, Tom. You're in our thoughts and prayers.
All the best, Glider.
The basketball world loves Tom Konchowski. We see a turnover there. He is a man who could go a decade between seeing you and not only would remember your name, he would remember your kids' names. And his handshakes lasted a long time, and even though they were strong, they were filled with kindness. As Kansas, within 12 here, final seconds of the first half. We're going to be with you for halftime as well.
Look for something for Agbaji potentially in that corner right there.
Looking for the final shot. Garrett keeps it, and was it off the cylinder? They're giving it to him. McCormick with the finish, and then a shot toward the buzzer here, no good. And West Virginia will take a 10-point lead into halftime, 44-34. And Bob Huggins questioning it as well. Clark, what do you think?
We'll take a look and let's see. It's a split-second decision here. Well, I think it may have gotten outside of it.
It was coming off
too. Yep, I think it may have gotten out. Oh, no. From that angle up top, looks like a piece of that pumpkin is still on the rack. Nonetheless, though, the bucket counts. I think that should not have counted after the second replay look.
Well, we'll count it all up on AT&T at the half. Coming up next.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Dollar Shave Club, that internet company now in stores everywhere. Expedia, connect every detail for every fan at every trip. And by Michelob Ultra, enjoy responsibly. And the road to the Final Four continues. Spiro Ditas, Bill Raftery. Raf, I thought that was the best half we've ever done.
I had to put my beverages away, my chips. I was enjoying the guys, the fearsome foursome. They were terrific.
Yeah, we're just worried they're going to take our jobs, but an excellent job by Adam and the fellas. What did you see in that first half? Some shooting struggles for Kansas early in the game, but they hit 5 of their last 6.
Well, the turnovers were a problem. Of course, the threes by West Virginia were certainly, some great shot selection, some kick-out passes, some out-of-bounds plays, and why not McBride? He's the guy that can ring the bell most frequently for this club.
McBride was hot as we take a look at our first half stats presented by Buick, and look at the three-point shooting, Raf. West Virginia, playing a little bit differently than they have in years past, going small, and they are hitting it from the outside.
Well, they are really a solid team. Dribble, drive, kick, occasionally a little lapse defensively, get those puppies organized. Whether it's Sherman or McBride, a terrific first half. Culver got them going early, but this is just a set play on the out of bounds, the inbounder. A little hit and follow, and why not? Deuce for Trey.
Miles McBride, the Cincinnati kid, sophomore season, averaging a touch over 15 points per game. What a season he has put together. A huge jump in his production. Averaged about 9.5 points per game as a freshman last year. So Kansas will have the basketball. They have not led yet in this game.
And Derek Culver had a great start also. Got some touches inside. Was dominating with their 4 round 1. As the guys pointed out, a lot of small balls. Should get some open opportunities off the dribble and some fast break opportunities. A little load up early, and why not? Give it to the big fella,
David McCormick. And just like that, he gets the Jayhawks to within 8. McCormick, Raf, has been just sensational for them.
He's been on a great one. They did a little high-low. Agbaji they put down on the box early. A little different look at the end of the half as well.
Pass intended for McBride, deflected out of bounds by Agbaji. Another look at the McCormick bucket.
A nice little ball movement, a little seal, a nice little angle. Culver gambled, sold out on the high side. A little drop step finish. Now Brown's got to be careful with those 3 fouls early.
Brown the snatch. Wilson ahead of the pack, and he banks it in.
Well, he comes
Kansas
back.
A nice start.
If he plays like he did early years, Spiro, he had a great start.
West Virginia, if you've just joined us, is led by as many as 10. There's a whistle. They'll count the basket for McBride. And the Mountaineers get their first points of the half.
I think it was McCormick really on the help there. Nice little hide and seek by McBride. He's so clever with the ability in the open floor. A little hang time, little body search and finish. Well, McBride just using the big guy Culver. Loses Wilson. A little bit of a disadvantage for Wilson, that size and the quickness as well by McBride.
McBride has really become the engine, the leader for this team. He was a standout high school quarterback at Archbishop Moeller High School in Cincinnati. And is Brown with a deep three.
Well, he gets it going for this team, because Bob Huggins will be shaking his head on the sideline. He had a big game against them earlier in the year.
So Kansas hit 5 of the last 6 to end the first half. They hit their first 3, make it 4 to begin the second half. Marcus Garrett.
I think they're going to do a good job dribble driving, too, on this set defense. This is not as tenacious a defense as we're accustomed to West Virginia. Although playing smaller, we might see a little press Virginia.
This is Taz Sherman on a three-pointer. Rims out, and then McCormick unable to squeeze it underneath. But we've got a brand new game as Kansas is within 4.
Yeah, a little bit of a run out. Of course, you love those open floor opportunities off your defense. A little X off the big guy.
Shot clock at 20. And work it underneath against that interior defense.
Brown's showing some toughness. He was diving on the floor in that first half.
Here's Brown trying to reset that Kansas offense. Wilson to the rack, puts it down. And here comes Kansas.
How about that drive and use of the offhand as well? The renaissance of Wilson. Loved him early in the year, struggled a little, lost maybe a little bit of confidence. They really looked relaxed as a team the other night against K-State. Bill telling both of us a lot of conversation, not drills, just trying to get them to relax and be themselves.
Wilson, the redshirt sophomore, as Raf just mentioned, was really one of the surprise players the first 2 months of the season. Averaged 15 points, nearly 8 rebounds over the first 11.
Offensive rebound, good recovery by the Mountaineers.
Closest Kansas has been since they were down 4-2. What a pass, Brown dropping a dime to Garrett. And we are tied at 47.
Kansas is an excellent cutting team. They know how to dive, to time it, it's off the dribble or the post touch. The eyes have it right down the middle, huh? Not a bad little look. Garrett with a big time completion.
Boy, a 10-point West Virginia halftime lead has evaporated. Kansas 6 of 6, and this is a brand new game. Time now for Inside March Madness, presented by Buick. Tournament resume for West Virginia, currently 17th in the country. They were ranked as high as 7th in late December, as this program is vying for its 10th tournament appearance in Huggins' 14 years. Raf, you see what they have done on the season, and Huggins has had to kind of reinvent things, all the issues that they've had. They had that nearly 2-week layoff due to COVID. We spent some time with him this week via Zoom, and he said 43 years in this business, he's never experienced anything like this.
Nothing like it. And of course, Sheway not being here, the adjustments he's made on the fly, philosophically, whether it's the pressure defense or the two bigs playing inside, this guy is amazing. Of course, ahead of him are Mike Kay, Jim Boeheim, and Bob Knight in terms of victories. And he's only a few away, I think 9 away from Bob Knight. So guys earlier were talking about the Hall of Fame. This is probably it, I would think, this year.
One of two
deserves it.
All-time Division I coaches to win 300 or more games with 2 different programs. Roy Williams, of course, the other. And West Virginia right now, Raf, looking for some offense.
Really nice job defensively by McCormick. Now he settles in there, making cover through the circle. Nice denial and hands. They're bigs, doing a great job.
First empty trip, Ralph, for Kansas in the half, as they get Derek Culver at the rim, and Culver will shoot a couple of free throws.
Now, Culver doesn't look like a sprint guy, but he gets up and down the floor more than adequately.
Culver has been red hot. You heard Adam in the first half tell you about his numbers, nearly 16 points over his last 6. He's a 60% free throw shooter. Tomorrow after the Super Bowl, injustice will be equalized. Queen Latifah stars in the new CBS original, The Equalizer. Watch the world premiere tomorrow after the Super Bowl right here on CBS.
Yeah, he gave them their great start, 12 points in that first half. A lot of them early before they started making the threes. A different array and look by West Virginia. They beat you a lot of spots.
So it takes the Mountaineers nearly 3 minutes, but finally their first points of the second half.
A little settle here for the deep three, but he can make them, no question about it. But I like to see them drive and kick or post touch and kick Kansas.
Brown hit that three just earlier in the half. Hit 4 threes in Kansas's win against K-State on Tuesday in that 23-point win. Brown, of course, had the big game in the first meeting between these two teams back on the 22nd of December. 22 points, hit 6 threes in that game, all of which came in the first half. Here's a strong move to the rack. As Taz Sherman making his 5th straight start. Strong move to the goal.
They do a great job on that elbow drive. Strong to the tin as well. Nice entry.
Excellent ball movement by the Jayhawks. Garrett slices in. Nice. Offensive rebound, giving the Mountaineers a taste of their own medicine.
Well, you mentioned McCormick. He's a different guy right now, I think. Well, a little dump off would have helped Kansas.
Wilson trying to corkscrew himself through that Mountaineer defense. Couldn't put it down. McBride resets. That's an open look at a three. Won't go from Sherman. I beg your pardon, Bridges.
So many good things. Nice extra look.
Open look at a three for Wilson, and Raffy just
not there.
Hasn't been the same shooter over the last couple of weeks.
Go to the rim, get to the foul line.
Sherman, well played by Brown, and then it's intercepted. McBride. Sherman on a three. And West Virginia's second half offensive struggles continue. Here comes Brown, up and under. A lot of missed bunnies on both sides.
Setting the pace, though, pushing it. But Sherman on that left elbow. They really got a high-low going. They take away the entry. Good defense by McCormick. The blow-by. Hang. Deliver. Sherman.
4-point lead for West Virginia after they absorbed that first blow from Kansas to begin the second half. Oh, the next generation is now presented by Army National Guard. And not only is Miles McBride performing on the court, but he continues to accelerate his path to success by succeeding in the classroom. Last year, Miles was on West Virginia's academic honor roll and was also named to the All Big 12 academic rookie team. In addition, he continues to impact the community. In 2019, he visited Cheat Lake Elementary School, reading to those children who were so thrilled to have one of their heroes in attendance. Just a phenomenal young man is McBride, still only a sophomore. You see his numbers on the season. He has matched that so far today, and you can just sense, Raph, the confidence in his game growing game to game.
So many things he can do. Of course, a great football player, as noted by many, including us. An amazing athlete, a winner. Great crossover, great handle, makes threes. Looks like a great teammate. Of course, Bobby Huggins says the two things they've got to do is guard and rebound. And the other thing, I think they got to get back on defense. KU want to run out, make them play a little bit more half court.
So Kansas began the second half by hitting their first 6 shots. They've actually missed their last 5. As West Virginia has restored order, at least for the moment. Quick whistle on the inbounds.
Now, you've been there, right, to this building over the years?
I've never been there.
Well, the last time the Mountaineer shot his rifle next to me. I must have jumped 15 feet in the air. I had no idea. Great atmosphere for college basketball. This is a nice little scissor play, almost like an old Celtic side scissor with Russell, KC, and Sam.
This will be an illegal screen and an offensive foul as McBride upset. Good looking stroke on the three, but Raph, we miss the fans. All these
absolutely.
Great venues.
And the fans miss it too. So hopefully we can provide a little interest for them.
Spiro Ditas, Bill Raftery, rest of our CBS crew, we appreciate you hanging with us. Some audio technical issues in the first half. David McCormick misses a turnaround. It's tapped up and in by Garrett.
Nice weak side position, wedged his way in there. Nice anticipation of the long rebound. Nice.
Here's Brown on the steal. Brown, a foot race all the way to the cup. And Kansas ties it again. Brown making his impact felt in the second half.
He gets a lot of deflections, jumps to passing lane. Not just a pretty face out there with that three-point shot. He can be damaging. I love that little play, like a screen, rescreen.
Bridges resets to McBride. 6 to shoot. McBride pulls it on a 3. Splash!
So this kid, he can put a team on his shoulder. It always gets back to the talented point guard. So don't take bad shots early.
McBride had that monstrous game in the last-second victory over number 10 Texas Tech last month. That 24-point performance at the game-winning layup in the closing seconds as Wilson is fouled underneath. Bridges thought he had him tied up, but another look at that defensive theft by Brown.
Great anticipation. You got to show it. I'm sure they talked about in the scouting report, but this kid, so good off the bounce. And yet if he makes that 3, it sets that game up better.
Told you about where these two teams have come from. West Virginia ranked as high as 7th. Got a victory at Iowa State on Tuesday. Nearly blew that double-digit second-half lead as Brown attacks the cup. Misses at the rim. It's tapped up and in.
I'm not sure if it was a McCormick or not, but one nice little pump fake twice now.
They give it to McCormick officially. And it's a 1-point West Virginia lead. We'll get a whistle here on the perimeter against the Jayhawks.
Yeah, that high ball screen, have a little trouble. McBride plays cat and mouse with that. Keeps that bounce alive. Just feels how the postman's going to defend him.
So they officially give that last basket to McCormick. They have confirmed.
And Matthews on the floor now. Pretty good driver. Gets to the rim as well. Playing the foul line. And their little high-low set.
Jalen Bridges, meantime, for West Virginia, picked up his 3rd personal a moment ago.
Saboyan on the floor now. Does a lot of little things, as pointed out.
Shot clock down to 2 wrap. They've got to pull it, and they hit. Taz Sherman.
Using it all. Solid that first half deep. That really opens up inside thing. Nice trap here.
All right, Kansas getting inside. What's the call here?
I think a foul after the goal, if I'm not mistaken. Nice high-low. This kid is just spirited now. Saw him really early in the year. Not as aggressive. Not the mentality of a guy who wants to be a good offensive player, but nice little look. Harris with the find. And a lovely little bounce in Morgantown.
So they have counted the basket, Ralph. It'll be just 1 free throw here for McCormick. Bob Huggins, meantime, can't believe it from that West Virginia bench. Looks like Bob is still looking for an explanation.
I'm sorry. If masks were made for any coach, they were made for Bob. If it can prevent any difficulty for him, he's going to jump in, 3rd man in the booth. By the way, how about our guys today? On the fly, taking over. Just phenomenal.
Adam, Clark, Seth, and John.
Yeah, the information they provide.
So here's another look as the officials now taking a closer look at this. John Higgins, James Breeding, and Brett Smith are officials. And it looks like they have confirmed the basket and a chance at a 3-point play for McCormick.
Yeah, keeping him on the floor is very important. They can play around him, that 4-around-1. There's a nice job screening, rolling to the rim.
McCormick, top 4 free throw shooter in the Big 12. He's missed a couple today. And West Virginia's lead remains 2. Look at this drive to the rack. Sherman, a couple of fakes. Textbook.
Boy, that's what happens when you can drill them deep. Great handle, patience at the rim. Because don't forget, they don't have the big destroyers inside that you're accustomed to with both of these teams.
Sherman has 16 points in 19 minutes. Boy, they hound DeJuan Harris, and Kansas with a turnover.
They're trying to steal some time with Harris, who's going to be a fine player. But right here, look at his patience, keeping that pivot foot, too. Let everybody fly by with a little smile at the finish.
One thing about Kansas, Raf, single-digit turnovers in each of their last 2 games. 11 or fewer in 3 of their last 4, but a different story today. They're having some issues with that West Virginia defense.
The hands, deflections, jump the passing lane, cover back on the floor, try and get a pin down on him.
That was Kansas's 14th turnover of the day. As the whistle is blown here, McNeil is bumped off the ball by Abaji.
I think maybe Wilson.
Actually, but yes, you're right. It's on Wilson.
A little flex bump on the baseline.
So
excellent defensive teams. Excuse me.
29 to play. Quick jumper off the baseline. Won't go for Matthews. Know about West Virginia's offensive rebounding among the best in the country. Offensive foul. It's on Culver. Left foot.
And they are not big, but they pursue the basketball. And watching Kansas over the year, they're very quick to rebounds, even though they don't have big size. And a little could have been a flop as well in that 3-second lane. But just look at the hands, the perseverance, and the strength. And they're going the other way with it on Culver.
So that's the third personal on Culver. Bob Huggins
checking there with Larry Harrison, his longtime assistant.
Well, that's a big swing call. Would have been a three-point play opportunity for Culver. And instead, Kansas down 4, gets it back. With 12:20 to play, and now Culver has to sit rep. That's his third personal.
It takes away that inside game. But they have been very effective with 5 out as well.
Kansas coming off their Tuesday night victory against Kansas State. Had lost 4 of their previous 5, including 3 straight. One of their worst stretches in more than 30 years. As they have fallen to 23rd in the country. Abaji from deep.
How about a great look by Wilson? Drags the defense, cross the lane. All the heads turn, pursuing the bounce. Terrific look and finish.
Abaji 11th in the conference in scoring, 2nd in made threes and 3-point percentage in the Big 12.
Well, he is a smooth player.
Here's Matthews, backdoor, good close by Abaji. They put it on the deck, Osaboyan. Matthews, backdoor.
And a great look as well. Matthews with a great dive and timing.
Matthews back in a starting role today. Started the first 13, last 4 off the bench as they reshuffled their lineup during that COVID break that lasted nearly 14 days.
You see a lot of them, maybe a light foot with a screen.
Looks like the kick is the call here, so Kansas will have it when we come back. But the Jayhawks down 10 at halftime. Morgantown, West Virginia. Cheerleading section, and it has been a interesting second half. West Virginia led by 10 at halftime, but Kansas Raf came storming back to begin the second half, and it's a 3-point Mountaineers lead.
Yeah, big thing is points in the paint too. Kansas doing a really good job getting touches and dribble drive. Is this the house that Jerry built?
Mm-hmm. Indeed
Rod
it is.
Well, pal of both of ours, and Hot Rod Hudley. Great fun to watch them. Of course, longtime CBS when CBS did the NBA, Hot Rod, and later on a partner of Jim Nance in Utah.
One of the all-time personalities. What a career Hot Rod had as a player. And, of course, the logo.
That's right. The NBA logo.
Lots to talk about.
Hot Rod was very tough to get a sandwich out of or a beverage in his heyday.
A lot to talk about, Raph, for Bob Huggins in that huddle. As Culver, if you've just hopped on with us, picked up his third personal a couple of minutes ago. So Huggins having to reset the deck. Culver still on the bench. As West Virginia looks for what would be a massive win in conference play. Lightfoot to seal and then turn back. What a defensive recovery by Matthews.
Now, both these coaches out of timeouts do a lot of different things. They read traps beautifully. West Virginia. Well, Mitch had an easy opportunity at the rim for him.
West Virginia got off to that 7-1 start. We're ranked 7th in the country in late December as Deuce McBride continues his sensational day. He's got 20.
Well, Lightfoot really late show on that ball screen.
Wilson puts it on the deck into the paint, taking on contact, and he'll shoot free throws.
I like that attack, though. That's what he's got to do. Get yourself to the free throw line. Freshens your outlook a little bit. But you talk about a guy, a little dribble handoff of Shaboyan, and of course Mitch a little bit tardy coming out. This kid takes big shots, game winners, Texas Tech, you name it.
So here's Wilson at the free throw line, 65% on the season for the redshirt sophomore. Well, this Thursday, 1 year after the events of The Silence of the Lambs, agent Clarice Starling is back and ready to dive into the minds of monsters and madmen. The silence is over, but her story only beginning. Clarice, the new series Thursday, 10/9 Central on CBS.
Wilson coming down the stretch. I think he's very important for this team, not only in this game, the rest of the season. Good offensive rebounder, gets that stroke going, very strong at the rim.
Spiro Ditas, Bill Raftery, our producer Mark Wolf, Bob Fishman, our director. What a pass inside. Boy, McBride, Raff doing everything. Matthews was wide open.
He is in control. Great understanding of what to do, when to do it.
Oh, what a drive at the other end by Abaji.
How about that? He is smooth. Really gets there. Doesn't really look like he puts it in overdrive, but he's got great foot speed pursuing the rim.
Abaji had that terrific freshman year a couple of years ago. Last year, all Big 12 honorable mention. And his offensive game has gone to new heights so far this season. Matthews on a three, won't go. Offensive rebound.
That's when you're going.
Johnson and a three.
McBride. Offensive rebound, kick out.
So Kedry and Johnson keeping it alive. West Virginia among the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, and their lead back to 6. Timeout Kansas on CBS. And Super
Why are you
Bowl
looking
Sunday.
at me? It's the weekend. Because the scout reported for both of these guys. McNeil lit it up the last game. He's a terrific outside shooter. He's not getting looks. Brown's not getting looks deep either.
Here's Garrett taking on contact. And now they say offensive foul on Garrett.
He was trying to jump stop and just went one step too far. And this kid just contributes deflection. Osaboyan, but it's a little of the junk stuff, the glue, the dirty work. Plays his man and steps up nicely and on time too.
Osaboyan, the Arkansas transfer, first couple of years with the Razorbacks, and he does everything that a head coach wants. Defense, loose balls, as Raf just mentioned. And Garrett will sit for Bill Self as we hit the 9-minute mark. West Virginia led by 10 at halftime. They're up 6 as Garrett picks up his 4th.
A little stack look. Baseline rubs and the clear out. Look at this handle.
McBride, contact. Well, one of the few that hasn't gone down for him.
He owns his guy right now. And we'll be looking for the curl on the baseline rubs. I think they got Harris for that. What a tough guy to measure up to during the course of a game. Beat you in so many ways.
Raf, we mentioned McBride, from Cincinnati, played at Archbishop Moeller, was a terrific high school quarterback, actually drafted by some of the biggest programs, or recruited rather, by some of the biggest programs in the country, including Alabama. Suffered that broken leg during his junior year of high school playing football, and that kind of pushed him towards hoops. And what a player he was turning into for Bob Huggins.
What a great recruiter Huggins is. They called him about it, the youngster.
And as the story goes,
he was revered in Cincinnati, Bob.
Huggins deciding to sign McBride without having seen him play much in high school.
Nice help there by McNeil. Great read on the lob.
Of the Kansas turnover. Culver back in, playing with 3, misses in tight, and the rebound by Wilson.
Make them play a little half-court offense.
Here's Brown. Wilson from 3. Got it. Big shot for the Jayhawks.
All set up by the collapse off the bounce by Brown. The slap back knockdown.
Told you about Wilson's struggles of late. Just 19% from 3 over his last 3 games. But he has been strong so far here to bring the Jayhawks within 5. Here's McNeil, quiet till this point.
But they've done a nice job on that duck in by Culver in particular.
Sherman, got it.
Mid-post. He can embarrass you.
So Sherman has 18 points. McBride with 25. Those two have been the catalysts. Brown, too much offensive rebound. Wilson, look at that pass. And McCormick a chance at the free throw line.
Boy, that's some talent, isn't it? Offensive rebound, good find, good hands by McCormick. But the ability to knock some shots down. release of pressure nylon from 15. Pretty.
Our game summary presented by Jersey Mike Subs. Wild second half, 10-point halftime lead for the Mountaineers quickly evaporated. Kansas tied it, but right now West Virginia up 7. As you see McBride having a career day. Spiro Adidas, Bill Raftery back with you, and McBride has been terrific. Sherman in another starting role for a 5th straight game, and right now the Mountaineers riding those two.
They're making threes because McBride's so talented. Finds other. He's got 8 assists as well, so he's a great quarterback. Understands the game. That little post up that they run, even if you take Culver away, other guys as small as they are can slip in and knock shots down.
There's McBride. Told you about that incredible performance he had late last month against Texas Tech. Season high 24 points. He has now eclipsed that number.
4 of 5 from 3 as well. Choreographer. Knows how to get people in the right spot. And continues with Kansas doing a pretty good job either on the catch of the 3-second lean or the dribble drive.
So here is David McCormick at the free throw line. McCormick, big shoes to fill. Udoka Azubuike, of course, moving on, so sensational for Bill Self last year. We actually asked Bob Huggins about McCormick. And Raph, what did he tell us? Biggest jump one player in 1 year that he has seen in terms of skills improvement since he's been in the Big 12.
His footwork is impeccable. Has that little jump hook over either shoulder. And this is where he's got to be solid to keep Culver out of the nice little step through, forced to a difficult shot. Great D.
Well, McCormick not quite the defensive presence that Azubuike was, but played him pretty well that time. McCormick at the other end.
I guess you're going to say a juggle ball.
Clean strip by Culver. Wilson resets, still plenty of time to shoot. 13 on the timer. Wilson probing, offensive foul.
Yeah, he lost his control a little bit. Extend that arm or that shoulder. And just a little help. Nice. They'll stick that hand in there just to throw him off a little bit. And a pretty good defensive stand.
So well done defensively by Emmett Matthews. And 3rd personal on Wilson. So West Virginia by 5. Would come up on the final 6 in Morgantown. Proud defending Sherman. A step back turnaround shot.
Who needs a low post man?
Taz Sherman, the senior Missouri City, Texas native, was a top 5 scorer at the JUCO level a couple of years ago. And boy, he is thriving in his 5th straight start. Garrett misses at the rim. Kansas streaming for a foul.
A nice little drive, just going to complete the deal.
West Virginia will reset as we cross the 6-minute mark.
A nice switch back by Wilson to get off McBride.
And this is going to be an offensive foul. It's on Sherman. Right, they said that he pushed off a little bit with that off arm.
A little nickel dimer out deep. See if they get some touches inside with McCormick.
First foul against Sherman. So who does Kansas turn to here? Mention the little stretch that they just got through after that, before that victory over K-State on Tuesday. But the team's still looking for some consistent confidence. That's McCormick.
He's been making that. He's confident that 15, 17-footer. I think they're set up for a back cut. KU can get a little step and go by Brown. West Virginia really jumping, passing ends a little bit.
Here's McNeil.
Good defensive pressure here for a contest.
Now to McBride. They reset underneath Culver. 5 to shoot. Boy, went right around McCormick.
Got nice and low. Use that hip to swivel and finish.
And Culver's hot streak continues. 17 points, 7 of 11 from the field with 7 rebounds. Garrett open 3. That's been the weakness of his game. McCormick offensive rebound. Had a great look at it. Last touch by Kansas.
I think he didn't realize McBride was on him. He could have gone right up, but why not? Get him organized there, big fella. Beat you low. bring it outside to the suburbs, get a little nylon too. Boy, great use of that side hip and the extension by Culver. Southpaw delivered.
Here's McBride on what has been a career day. 25 points. Now to Sherman. McNeil in the corner.
Not helping at all.
Culver on the box contact. The shot will not count, but that'll put West Virginia in the bonus, 1-1.
They were that little flex. McNeil disdained the cut, popped to the corner. Nice open delivery. Well, just a workman-like kind of a player, isn't he? A grunt guy.
See what Culver has done, Ralph. Most of his damage in the first half. This has been the weakness of his game. Free throw shooter, only 60% on the season. And leaves some points on the straight. Kansas down 7. We come up on the final 4 minutes. Here's Brown, guarded by McNeil with 12 to shoot.
He can elevate too. He's got some inches.
Abaji spins.
Now got a good clean look though. I'll tie some stops together if you're KU right now.
West Virginia, number 17 team in the country. McBride, well played by Abaji.
Look who gets it back. Whoops.
Another offensive rebound. Matthews got it.
Dagger. You mentioned earlier the offensive rebound. They are scrappy, feisty. Get after it. End up with a tray.
Matthews, who has struggled from deep this season, sub 30%. Massive shot for the Mountaineers.
Violation. Turnover. Trying to do it all at once.
Turnover by Wilson and Kansas. 18 turnovers committed by the Jayhawks. High emotions in Morgantown. West Virginia looking for a big one in the conference. Time now to take a look at the first half analysis presented by AT&T 5G. A career day, Ralph, for Miles McBride.
You name it, gets him in the right spots, does it on his own, finds people, pass that leads to the pass that leads to the goal, confident, pull-up jumper, uses the ball screen and the handle extremely well.
Well, there's Bill Self. Ralph, you think of how consistently great this program has been under Self. Told you they fell to number 23 this week. First time outside the top 20 since February of 09. 231 straight weeks in the top 25. That's the longest such streak in the history of the sport. As Culver continues his big day, approaching another double-double. But, you know, we asked Self about it. He's trying to keep a positive perspective for his players. What do you say, Rap? People forget sometimes as things turn south quickly, but
absolutely,
they still got some basketball in front of them.
He also felt the expectations, these kids were a little bit tight. Not playing loose, really going with 5 guys, not getting as much support off the bench from Harris and Lightfoot. And this is an unusual position for him to be in. You know,
just look at the numbers.
Play.
Sorry, Bill. You know, they've never finished lower than 3rd in the Big 12 since Self took over. They're currently 5th. As Garrett hits the front end of the 1-and-1. The lowest seed they've ever had under Self in the NCAA tournament, number 4. You wonder where they'll finish.
He'd take that right now, would they? A big thing about them is they got to get back to, they've always been an excellent defensive team. They really haven't run their action today either. I know you want to drive and get in the lane, and they've done that nicely in the low post to McCormick. But they've done some great stuff, but getting into the hole, a little full court pressure now, trying to stimulate some action. They got it.
What a play. The save, but Sherman takes for the Mountaineers. Brown bumps him, and they will count the basket. And Sherman has been sensational.
Boy, he has been extraordinary. Whether it's that mid-post, stepping outside, good off the bounce. And it's just a real good hustle player. Unfortunately, Garrett ends up leading to the little deuce, little dribble drive.
Sherman, first 13 games of the season as a reserve for Bob Huggins. And then Huggins, we mentioned that COVID stretch of nearly 2 weeks. He only had 4 available players. One of those guys was Sherman. So when play resumed for them, he just kept Sherman in the starting lineup. And looks like a pretty good decision.
Absolutely. That's why he's won all those games, too. I think he was poked in the eye in the Iowa State game, but he can drive it. Sherman, a pull-up jumper. We saw that mid-post.
This will be a 2-shot foul. It's on Osaboyan. Ralph, the other amazing thing about Kansas, if this result holds, this would be their 5th straight loss. That hasn't happened since 1982-83. Think of how good they've been on the road, especially of late. Last year, 9-0 in the road, on the road in conference. It's been a challenging year for Bill Self and his crew.
It's not that level of talent that we've been accustomed to, in fairness. But this is a tough stretch for him, tough stretch for the team. But there's enough talent out there where they can just get themselves organized, dedicate themselves to the defensive end, their running game a little bit. Of course, Ryan McCormick, I think he's got to be involved a lot more.
So Garrett hits on both. It's an 11-point Kansas deficit, 2:19 left.
Oh, he walked, I thought. Yeah,
that's a travel.
Took a while. Plenty of time left.
West Virginia has been so good today offensively, such few mistakes. As Culver will sit.
Yeah, that's because of the pressure, too. Very good out of baseline, out of bounds, this team.
Here's Brown. Now Tristan Enaruna on the floor for the first time in the half. Garrett taking on contact. 9-point game.
So it's all about the guards right now. And you were mentioning, he's a kid I'd love to see blossom. Once in a while you see him shoot it well, put it on the floor well. And right here, this is what they've done well, I think, all game. A little same hand change, little lingerie on the deck, kiss to boot.
Garrett last year playing behind the great Devon Dotson. And Raph, that was not a foul that Bill Self and his staff wanted Brown to take. As Brown has fouled out. 11 points with 2 minutes left. And he's a guy you want on the floor late, especially that high three-point shooting.
Ability to shoot it, right? He leaves it all out there.
Chris Tehan has checked into the game. Senior, another Kansas kid who has become a fan favorite in Lawrence.
He can make threes. Of course, his brother played there. Championship teams.
Well, what a big win this would be for the Mountaineers. Got one earlier in the week in Ames against Iowa State. Offensive rebound, Wilson. Into the lane. The floater is good.
I'd like to see him competing right to the end here. Get a little giveaway quickly. Tehan. Now you watch that practice. He's a tough kid to guard because he can shoot the ball. He knows how to play. You may not get many minutes at some of these high-level programs, but you are a very good basketball player.
Invited walk-on who has become such an integral piece for them. Certainly in the locker room, his brother Connor. 5 years for Kansas. And what a day, Raf. Meantime for this young man, Deuce McBride. His father, Walt, a former collegiate player at Xavier. And a proud papa watching Deuce do his thing.
Make them use a little clock if you're West Virginia. Play solid, don't foul. Challenge, get them off the three-point line.
Garrett finds the seam and another missed layup by the Jayhawks.
Remember he said look up and they give the foul, but the head's down when you're dribbling. You can't see up at the other end.
So it looked like McBride called for a timeout before the contact. And now both teams will go to their respective benches. West Virginia by 11 as they close in on their 6th win right here on CBS. Andrew Catalan, the great Steve Lapis will have the call. And we will be watching final buck 16 remaining. Whistle on Kansas, and that'll put Sherman back on the free throw line. Raph, how impressed have you been with what we've seen from Bob Huggins' crew today?
I think they've really been solid. Anytime you got a guy like McBride to run the show and other guys are stepping up with good shots, Culver started them off in the right frame of the mind. But by the way, I was a kid when Lapis was the Villanova coach. I don't know if you remember.
Is that right?
Yeah. Got a free pass at his camp once in a while. Great success he had there. But no, this is just a good basketball team, West Virginia. And I'm interested to see Kansas, going home, get their head organized, get a little roll. And Bill's one of the great coaches in America. We'll get these kids' heads back into it. We expect them to be a lot better coming down the stretch.
This three-pointer rebound by Matthews. Teahan was in the mix, and that'll put Evan Matthews at the free throw line. Raph, we know you have a soft spot for those Greeks.
Absolutely, hanging around with you. There's Nick Galis, one of our former great players at Seton Hall.
Bob Huggins, by the way, on the Hall of Fame ballot, Raph, for 4th straight year. I have to think that he's going to get in at some point. I mean, you got a resume, Raph, that's just incredible. We mentioned 300 wins with 2 different programs. He and Roy Williams, the only Division I coaches to do it.
If you asked the coaches to vote, he'd be in. I mean, guys would have to compete against him. And he's done it at different spots, different levels, different type of talent, different type of philosophy. At Cincinnati, they used to have like a junk-up zone that destroyed people. And now he's back to the man that was pressing, as you know. We talk about playing big, little.
Three-pointer from Wilson won't go. Huggins will get this one, so he's going to move 3 wins away from Roy Williams and 5th on the all-time list. This is one that the Mountaineers desperately wanted.
Yeah, Bob will be happy. Maybe he'll sport a new wardrobe next time we see him. It's a reverse tuxedo he wears.
West Virginia will get to 13-5, 6-3 in the Big 12. And Kansas, meantime, is going to lose its 5th straight road game. First time that's happened again since 82-83. Incredible. Put back by Enaruna.
Wilson attacking. He's got to do a little more of that, I think, Wilson. Just to get his head going on the offensive end, feeling good about himself.
Just the prolonged greatness of this Kansas program. But it has been a challenging year, to say the least. West Virginia, the number 17 team in the country, with a double-digit victory over Kansas. And the Mountaineers in that number 2 slot, behind the 2nd-ranked team in the country, Baylor. And Kansas looking for answers late in the season. Raph, this was fun. We'll do it again. For Bill Raftery, Mark Wolf, Bob Fishman, rest of our CBS crew, Spiro Dedes saying so long. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. Coming up next, Washington and Oregon. Next.